Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, we've been talking about the Switch 2 quite a bit lately. It seems a lot of accessory manufacturers are potentially leaking the design of the Switch 2. And now dbrand, I don't know if they're trolling here, if this is real, but this is on their website. And they say the kill switch is a Switch 2 case. Now, this isn't some sort of hidden page on dbrand's website that people found. dbrand is actively advertising it. In fact, here's a recent tweet from them showcasing their kill switch case as well as the Switch 2 underneath it. Now, as much as I want to say this is fake and dbrand is just hopping on the trend of accessory manufacturers leaking the potential Switch 2 design, dbrand is known for being a little bit controversial in the scene, especially with this Clone of the Kingdom set. So if you take a look here on the dock, we talked about this in the news a while back when this was initially unveiled. Here is translated to something along the lines of "Go F yourself, lawyers." And this translates roughly to "This funds our legal defense." Furthermore here, this is what Insider Gaming tweets. dbrand CEO confirmed to Insider Gaming that the device inside the case and the images is the actual design of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the Switch 2 may not be the actual name for the console, but at the same time here, I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, and this may be the real deal. So let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments below. Do you think that design of the Switch 2 is the real deal? Do you think dbrand is being truthful? Do you think all the other accessory manufacturers are being truthful? They're all leaking the exact same images of the Switch 2, and well, I'm seeing a trend here, and I'm thinking it is the real deal, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, if it is the real deal, then this is Nintendo's worst kept secret. And speaking about leaks, next up here we're talking about the Lenovo Legion Go 2, and it appears that images of the Go 2 have surfaced before CES 2025. And it appears that the Go 2 may be running SteamOS and straying away from Windows. Now, we're obviously going to find out more details about the handheld in the very near future here. Unfortunately, I don't know the details as in the CPU or GPU setup, the amount of RAM or anything like that just yet. But based on leaked images, it does appear that one of the handhelds will have a dedicated Steam button. I could be wrong. It's worth pointing out that there are a number of working theories right now for the next operating system on the Legion Go. Some people are saying they're all going to be SteamOS. Some people are saying they're all going to be Windows. And some people are saying there's going to be a hybrid approach where some devices will contain SteamOS and some will contain Windows. Now, based on recent images of the Powered by SteamOS logo we've seen, I think there's a very good chance that the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is powered by SteamOS. And I would say Lenovo is probably interested in offering multiple options. I mean, some people prefer the Windows operating system due to compatibility, especially with anti-cheats. We'll have to wait and see here. We only have to wait a few more weeks until CES, but let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. But moving on, and next up, we're talking about ESDE Frontend. For those who may not be aware, ESDE stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Emulation Station Desktop Edition, depending on how you wanted to interpret that. Anyways, ESDE just got a brand new update. As a heads up here, ESDE is not an emulator in itself. It's a front end designed to use with your emulators and ROMs, just designed to organize everything and make everything look good all in one place and easy to use. Anyways, here the brand new version for ESDE is version 3.1.1. And this one has some pretty big changes. There's a whole lot of bug fixes, and they've reduced the memory footprint. So they say here, this release adds support for 4 more languages, and those languages are Catalan, German, Dutch, and Korean. It reduces the memory footprint under some circumstances and enables a number of new emulators. On Android, the default audio driver has been changed, which should decrease audio latency on many devices. Taking a look at the detailed changes here, and it appears they've added Mandarin as a standalone alternative emulator for the Nintendo 3DS. And they've also added in Dream as a standalone alternative emulator for DOS, PC, and ScumVM systems on Linux, Mac, and Windows, not Android. But it does seem that Android got the most love out of all of the systems here based on the number of changes. Linux, Mac, and Windows also got some improvements. I mean, if you take a look under Linux here, they added support for the app image release of Melon DS. And on Windows, this is a change I really like. They added Final Burn Neo as a standalone alternative emulator for arcade stuff, Neo Geo arcade stuff. Additionally, here there's a whole bunch of bug fixes and even more. And if you wanted to see the entire changelog, like everything I talk about, link is in the description below right at the bottom. Next up, we're quickly talking about the Multisystem 2, which is an FPGA-based system that is not really shrouded in the controversy that something like the Super Sega FPGA is. This one seems to be a real product and, well, it seems to be doing very well. They're currently testing a bunch of different things and also finalizing the case design. So here appears to be the initial images of the Multisystem 2. Now it is worth pointing out these may not be the final images. The person designing it says it's a nice low profile compared to the first Multisystem. Still not quite sure I like the hexagon, I'll keep refining it. So there's a pretty big chance this is going to change at least a little bit in design. So here's a quick peek between the old and the new, and you can see it's a lot thinner than the older version of the Multisystem. And here is a better look at the system overall, where that hexagon is probably going to change. I can't say I'm a fan of it either, but let me know your thoughts about this design in the comments below. Do you like this design? Do you like the hexagon? Would you like to see something else? Next up, we're talking about Virtua Fighter 5 REVO. Now, it's worth pointing out that this is not the Virtua Fighter that was unveiled during the Game Awards or teased during the Game Awards. This is a completely separate game, a game that has kind of been out for a long time. So this is the PC take of Virtua Fighter 5 here, and it will feature rollback netcode. On top of that, apparently it's got an open beta right now, and it will be releasing on January 27th. In my opinion here, although this is kind of a re-release of a fighting game per se, the price here is much more reasonable than a lot of first-party fighting games in today's day and age. So right now it's 20% off in Canada, it's just over $20. Now as for the open beta, it's not open for very long at all, between December 13th and 16th, so there's possibly a chance by the time you're watching this video the beta is no longer available. Anyways, I don't know the size of the open beta, I don't know how many people they're capping it off at, but I do know they have a request right on the Steam page to join the virtual beta. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a big fan of fighting games, I'm a big fan of Virtua Fighter, and I will be picking this one up once it's released. I don't see Lenovo written anywhere on the Steam store page, which I am excited about. And speaking about Playtest, next up we're talking about Star Wars Hunters. And they've announced here that the Star Wars Hunters, the Steam playtest, is now live. And it's not too late to sign up. So for those who may not be aware of this game, they say join a fast-paced 4v4 battles in this free action-packed arena shooter. So it's a 4v4 arena shooter. It will be free to play here, and it will be coming soon to early access. It hasn't released yet. And just like the Virtua Fighter 5 Steam store page, you can request to join the playtest here for Star Wars Hunters right from their Steam store page. And I don't think any purchase is necessary, as you can't purchase this game. It's going to be free to play here. You can only wishlist it. Let me know if you've joined this playtest in the comments below and what your experiences are in this game. And continuing to talk about Steam, next up we're talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, it was announced during the Game Awards that this game was headed to PC via Steam and Epic. And now the Steam store page is live, so it's releasing on January 23rd, 2025. And you can pre-order it if you want right now. It's 30% off on Steam. At this point in time, I don't see Lenovo on their page just yet, but that may change, and I don't know the Steam Deck compatibility. I would like to assume it will be compatible with the Steam Deck, but we're going to have to wait and see on that one. But either way here, I would say this is a big win for PC gaming, and I think a lot of people are excited about this game heading to PC. And last up here, we're quickly talking about the Intel Arc B580. Now, we talked about this in yesterday's video when it seemed that this graphics card was performing very well from a price to performance ratio. A lot of people seem to be very impressed with it. And I was wondering how it was going to perform on Linux. Well, Phoronix has tested this one out on Linux, and there are some caveats here. It does seem to be performing very well. The drivers are open source. However, you will need to be running a pretty recent kernel to get the most out of this card, the kernel version 6.12. So interestingly here, Phoronix says the B580 is delivering great generational performance improvements over the A580 and outperforming the A770 by wide margins. Power efficiency under load is comparable to AMD's RDNA 3. And they say here at $249 USD, the B580 graphics card does deliver great value. So overall, it does seem that the B580 is a very attractive option for Linux folks, especially considering the drivers are open source. I'm hoping things get even better as things move forward for this graphics card, and I think this is the right step from Intel. I am hoping here support continues to be good for this card. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a few things today, not a whole lot because it was a relatively quiet day in the gaming and tech world, and I don't need to pad these videos for any reason. Let me know what you thought about anything we talked about in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.